Alright, this is for setting up the throttle curve. If you haven't noticed that if you're using the Thrustmaster TCA, the throttle response isn't very linear, and so I spent some time putting together some curves that would give better results and a more proportional linear response for flying GA planes. So if you search for throttle, the axis is going to be assigned as throttle 1, 0 to 100%. You go to the gear, it takes you to the setup menu, and we're going to go to tweak action curve. Sensitivity plus is set to -0.2, and that controls the upper half of the curve. Sensitivity minus is set to 0.15, that controls the lower half. And neutral is 0.35, and that controls where it crosses the x-axis. Searching for a mix will get you to the mixture axis. You want to take the 0 to 100% mixture axis and assign that as joystick L axis Y. And you can set it up here with the gear menu. Go over to the left side and you can scroll all the way down and you can tick the box over on the side. Then you go to the action curve. The sensitivity plus is set to 0.75 on the upper part, the lower part is set to 0.9, and neutral is set right in the middle. This is how the axes respond in the cockpit. And you can see that as you slowly move it, it can zero out. You can bring it all the way down to idle. As you slowly move it forward, you bring it up to 50%. You can see that it fits nicely right in the middle, and bring it all the way up to 100, so it's a nice linear response. And then for the mixture, you got to move it just a little bit to start turning it on from cut, and bring it all the way up to the middle for 50%. And then for some reason it maxes out at 83, but the overall control of it is a lot better than what it was before. And now for the throttle setup of the PC6. The throttle 1 axis is set for 0 to 100%, and you get into the gear and you go to the tweak action curve. Sensitivity plus is set to -0.19, and that's the upper part of the curve. We have sensitivity minus at 0.15, it's the lower part of the curve. And then neutral is set at 0.45, and that's like about 0.10 farther out than the SR22, and that has to do with where the throttle stop is for the thrust reverser. If you do a search for prop, it will take you to the Propeller 1 axis, and that will be assigned as joystick L axis Y. You go over to the gear, and it's over on the left-hand side, and you just got to tick the box to make it activated. And then you go into tweak action curve, and you set up sensitivity plus to be 0.25 for the upper part of the curve. Sensitivity minus is at 0.9 for a very vertical upward stroke, and then neutral is at 0.25 and 0.04 for the dead zones. Here in the PC6 cockpit, we have prop pitch on the left and throttle in the middle. You can see that the throttle is at like 1%. I'd rather have it be like 1% more than like a negative number, because as soon as it goes negative, it goes into the thrust reverser. And as soon as you flip up the lever and you can bring it back, you can see that that curve gives it a nice zeroed spot for fully functioning thrust reversing. And you bring it forward all the way up to the 50% mark, and that brings you in the middle of the quadrant. And you can bring it all the way up to 100%, and you see that it's a very nice and linear curve. And over here on the propeller pitch, you can very easily bring it all the way back down to the low end and up into the middle at 50%. And bring it all the way down to the stop. And get a full range of travel to have the full adjustment of the propeller. That concludes this tutorial video. Feel free to subscribe to Tasty Sandwiches for more aviation related content.